super honest about it, but despite that fact, like half my family still thinks I'm 28. I don't know. And I'm fine with it. I don't know what to do about it. But then the other day someone was like, hey, you should try to dress your age. And I was like, I don't know how you know that my shirt is inside out and my shoes are tied weird because mom let me do it myself this morning. But I'll really try. No, it's weird. It's like weird that women often lie about their age or won't tell you. And then they will also lie about the age of the older man they're dating. They're like, he's in his late 40s. And you're like, I Googled him, he's like 57. And you're 23, so, I mean, props to you for dating Leonardo DiCaprio, but still, I know. Anyways, we got another show going for you tonight, so I'm gonna keep it really short. Coming up to the stage now is another local comedian, one of my favorites. He's an actor, he's a comedian, he is the singular. Please give a warm welcome and howl if you want to, because he hates it. It's Tom.
Is this my mic? Is this my mic right here? I'm gonna use this mic.
It's not your mic.
I'm gonna use it anyway, I'm a rebel. I don't wanna have to, god damn it. Hold on a moment. Hold that thought. Talk amongst yourselves. Don't actually fucking talk amongst yourselves. Come on, nobody means that when they say that. Yeah, so a little bit about me. Just kidding. I hate when comics come up here and a little bit about me. Like, dude, just do the jokes. I don't need your backstory, motherfucker. Make me laugh. Let me get to know your work a little more before you do your origin story, Spider-Man. Anyway, that being said, a little bit about me. I did a open mic recently at the Off Broad Street. This is going to become hopefully a regular thing once a month. Off Broad Street. Anybody heard of that? And it's a mix. It's an open mic. It's mixed. There's music. There's poetry. There's stand-up comedy. And one thing that they said specifically. John said this, came out and said, we're going to have some stand-up comics. We're asking the comics to keep it clean. Exactly. I was like, oh, fuck. This is what I did. I was like, that's, oh, I have to rewrite my set. Like on a show, I have to, oh, fuck. But I did it. I went with it, you know. And so it was clean. And so that means that a whole bunch of dirty shit got like backed up. And so now, you're all going to receive that. I'm just going to give that to all of you. You're welcome, or not. You clap now. You're not going to necessarily clap at the end of this. Yeah, the after. Yeah, you don't want that. So, on a related note, I was at an establishment. At lunch, I was eating, and I do this a lot. So when I'm out in public places. Just in case you ever encounter me, because we're all locals, we live here locally. If you ever encounter me out in public and you see me like at a bar or a restaurant or at the gym or whatever, and I have a book in front of me, that is not a cry for help, okay? That's not the thing. I just do that. It's a weird thing that I do where I like to have people around me and all the, and I just, and I focus down on what I'm doing. I know it's weird, don't kink shame. It's what I'm into. And I was doing one of those, but every once in a while there'll be somebody, it's usually, I don't know, it's about 50-50. Somebody will come up to me and be like, what's up? Hey, look at that. What you reading there? You're like, nothing now. But I don't say that. I don't ever say that. I'm like, oh, and I'll show them the cover of the book, and they're like, ah, good. Is that a good book? I'm like, yeah. What's it about? And I'll start to tell them. I mean, I used to do that. I don't do it anymore. I have learned they never actually mean that. They do not give a shit what it's about. I don't really know exactly what's going on. I started going into like, oh, it's a nonfiction book about, it's called You Can Change Your Mind and how you can take psychedelics and do blah. And I can see their eyes glaze over. Like, yeah. And then when it comes time for the other person to talk, this is what the person will say. Yeah, I like reading. I like reading too, it's cool. Oh, fuck, really? You came over here to signal that you can read? You interrupted me to... Which is... Here's the thing, though. If I was on my phone, I don't get any of that. Yeah. Nobody comes up to you being like, what you scrolling? Huh? Facebook? Twitter? TikTok? Huh? Doing the dances? Huh? Pinterest? Huh? Insta? The Union? The Onion? Craigslist? Megan's List? MySpace? Nobody says that anymore. Whatever happened to that guy? Anyway, I'm going to do the dirty stuff. I'm sorry, I get a little, I get off on tangents. I'm going to do the dirty stuff tonight. So, this is a prelude. I'm sitting there and I'm doing that thing where I'm reading my book, having lunch. I was on my lunch break from work, and there was a table of 3 young toughs sitting behind me, like 19, 20 years old or something like that. And I'm not listening. I don't do that. I just, but every once in a while, some people's voices kind of wend their way into my consciousness. I mean, I don't really want to hear them. Some people complain about hearing non-English spoken while they're in public, and I think, what is wrong with you? What, are you trying to eavesdrop and you got thwarted? Why do you care? I would prefer people speak non-English around me so that I could hear the voices of humanity rolling over me without having to hear the stupid fucking shit they say to each other. The banal things people say that just make me give up hope in humanity generally. But every once in a while there's something interesting that wends its way in, and this is one of those, and it haunts me to this day, so here we go. One of the 3 young toughs was kind of like a little bit older than the other and a little more sexually experienced, or at least, he was, pretending to be that. I don't know. And this is what I overheard, so. It's like, I don't know, man. KY, Astroglide, saliva. I'll tell you this much. Tears. Tears make the best lube. Right? And I was like, I have to write that shit down. I can't let that just dissipate into the universe. I mean, that is the most horrifying and awesome thing I have ever heard, or at least lately. I mean, I did not expect to hear that sort of thing on a Tuesday afternoon at Flower Garden. So I told a friend of mine who has since passed on, a friend of mine, Peter, he had a very dark sense of humor. We'd share a lot of barbed, sort of dark, fucked up comedy with each other. We had a weekly poker game. And I was like, oh, dude, you gotta hear this. And I told him the story, and his response was not what I expected. I expected a guffaw, but instead he was like, oh, no, that's true. Oh, yeah, tears. No, seriously, not a joke. Absolutely true. I was like, whoa. And I was of 2 minds. Do I pursue this, or And I went with It's like, I know there's a story or 2 there, but I don't know that I want to hear it. Anyway. I'll cry into my hand later and test that guy's theory. So, oh yeah, I was going to talk about dirty stuff. Because I'm kind of flirting with disaster a little bit. That's what it feels like every time you come up here. In case you've never done this before, you're flirting with disaster.
Bring it.
Yeah, exactly. This is how I do it. This is how I flirt with disaster. I do it like this, like... Hi, disaster. Wow, they let anyone in here. Wow. Fine, don't say hi. I'm not flirting with you, you're flirting with me. What if disaster flirted with you? What would that look like? Don't ask. Don't ask. You don't want to know what that looks like. Disaster flirting with you. But anyway, have you done this? You're flirting with someone you've met recently, and you're texting and you're flirting. There's that stage where you're in the plausible deniability. I can't already be lit. I can't possibly be already lit. Am I lit? I mean, I'm feeling kind of lit, but I just got lit right there. you're texting and you're flirting and you think like, you know, it's plausibly deniable, like maybe we're just having fun with each other, maybe it's something else. But eventually there's pictures involved or whatever, and you're like, oh, it is on, dirty flirting. And I got one of these. She said, just so you know, I'm a squirter. I was like, whoa. Like, how do I take that? Like, at the moment, I didn't even know how to take that. I'm like, is that a caveat? Is that a selling point? Like a warning? I don't know how to deal with that. And then with that information, what do I do going forward? I'm like, do I, you know, do I need to put a bunch of towels down and like cover the furniture with plastic? Are you otherwise housebroken? I don't know what that means. Turns out she wasn't. I mean, a squirter. She was housebroken as far as I can tell, but
That's on you.
oh really, that's my fault. You're right. I mean, she came. Here's the thing about the squirting. I will believe it. I will totally believe it because it's in a lot of the porn. That's like squirting. You see it like they splash right on the camera. Like this is a regular thing in porn. You guys ever seen porn? There's this thing called porn. It used to be called porno. That's when Italians were doing it, but then they dropped the O at Ellis Island or whatever. Yeah, it's just porn. But what I want to know is the woman who's a big squirter. You know, if she goes to the restroom beforehand and absolutely gets rid of all the urine and then squirts, then I'll be interested in finding out what that is, because I'm pretty sure it's pee-pee. Okay, that was my dirty set. Fuck off. Bye-bye.
Keep it going for Tom Wolf. Because apparently he was going to keep it going. We all think Tom Wolf is very funny. I do. He's one of my favorite comedians. Tom Wolf thinks it's very funny to make me look like a hard ass. It's like, you gotta make it look mean. I was like, I'll do my best. We got a lot more show going for you, so we're gonna keep it quick though. Coming up next, he's a local man of mysteries.